Hello, and welcome to World of Conan and to the loot of the week. And this week we got Conan the Great by Leonard Carpenter, and as you can see, I've started to read it. I think almost halfway through, and this has been a really good book. I've really enjoyed it so far. It has definitely much better than the Liberator book by L.Sprague and Lynn Carter, and this already with one scene completely destroyed the other book, where Conan fights by himself in a castle, fights the top guys basically, and it's just so well described, and it's just a fantastic sequence how it's written. You can really feel the adrenaline. It was great, hence Conan the Great. But yeah, this was completely different to the camp and Lynn Carter's style and book. I think honestly the Liberator book felt like a cash grab. Average tale, really nothing to say. Wasn't really nothing special in it, and if you didn't know, L.Sprague, the camp, and Lynn Carter have been for a long time been a controversial people in the Conan universe, these two authors, because back in the day when the original stories by Robert E. Howard went out of print, they were hard to get, the original stories, and what unedited, what Robert E. Howard wrote, Conan stories. And in the 50s, L.Sprague the camp became an editor for the Conan stories, and he started to publish them. And you can only get, for a lot of years, a lot of decades, only the camp edited stories, and not the original unedited stories of Robert E. Howard. So a lot of fans had issues with the camp. A lot of people were probably had problems and angry for a long time, and still there are people, purists, and I completely understand. I mean, Howard's style is his style, but the camp and Lynn Carter doesn't come close to it. It's completely different, even though they probably try to mimic it. But yeah, it doesn't mean though that the camp and Lynn Carter haven't made any good stories, and I look forward to reading all of their stories. I do hope there's some really good ones in there. Probably is. And now in hindsight, I don't have a problem with them. With the camp Lynn Carter stories, because we have the original Robert E. Howard stories unedited. I have the Centenary edition, and it's readily available, and you can get them pretty much probably at any big bookstore online, and a lot of public domain. A lot of the stories probably are public domain, I think, when I last checked. So now it's easy. Now it's not that big of a problem. But back then, I can understand, for decades you couldn't get what Howard actually wrote unedited. So I can understand, the big issue. And like I said, now kind of it's not that big of a problem anymore. And I can see the problem as well. Like I can see the issue as well. It's kind of like the George Lucas's edits of Star Wars, the original trilogy, where he enacted changes because I grew up with the original ones, not the changes, and that's also that won the awards, and that's what was his vision at the time. And they should be preserved, the original ones, without editions, unedited, and be readily available as well. If they were readily available in high definition, I don't think a lot of people would have problems then with that much with the George Lucas edits. But in many cases, or in this case, I could think that what the Camp and Lin Carter basically did is worse, because they're not the original creators of the Conan universe, of the Conan stories. That's Howard himself, obviously. So that's like an outside person coming in and starting to meddle with the original trilogy, and that's like even more crazy. It's kind of like the sequel trilogy. Yeah, I can understand the problem with the Camp and Lin Carter, but on the other hand, I'm looking forward to more Conan stories than if it was just the Howard stories, just have 21 stories and that's it. So I'm definitely looking forward to reading more of Conan, and I have no problem with other writers fleshing out more stories and the comics and all that stuff, all that good stuff, movies and stuff like that. No problem. So as long as we have the original ones, because obviously they are the original ones that are fantastic stories. So yeah, so this is looking to be a really good book. Carpenter can write, and I've been enjoying myself with this book. Definitely going to do a review on it, so look for that in the future. Yeah. Then the next, talking about actually the Camp and Lin Carter, as I said in the last Loot of the Week video, I was talking about starting to collect the Lancer books, Lancer editions of Conan, which is edited by the Camp and Lin Carter. So here's the first one, Conan the Wanderer. And it's from 1968, and it's in basically perfect condition. This plastic as well, which is really nice, keeping it from getting damage. And this has 4 stories in it. It has Black Tears, Shadows in Zambula, The Devil in Iron, and The Flame Knife. And Black Tears one was I think a fragment that or was it completely their own story? I think it might have been their own story completely, actually, Black Tears. And obviously Shadows in Zambula and The Devil in Iron is Howard stories. In all of these Lancer books there were a couple of Howard stories, and then Lin Carter and the Camps, their edits or their stories, basically like an because there were a lot of fragments left by Howard, so they finished them and then printed them as well. So we have that. And then the last one, the Flame Knife, is a repossessed story. So it was an actual Howard story called, I think it was Three-Bladed Doom, and he was repossessed, and what that means is it was changed into a Conan story with Conan as the main character and repossessed, and made into the Hyborian Age, put in some elements, fantastical elements and stuff like that. So it was yeah, it was changed, and I'm looking forward to reading that and the original one day as well. So, like I said, at this point it's maybe not that big of a deal, but I can, yeah, back in the day. And the cover art is by John Guillo, not Frazetta, which, the cover art is nice, it's good, but I mean, I'm a Frazetta guy, so, I wish it was Frazetta. I guess. That's what I would say. But yeah, these are really cool, and I really want to get them all. It's from 1968. Fantastic condition. Yeah. So we have to the last stuff. It's Conan the Destroyer, and this is the comic adaptation, adapted by Michael Fleischer and illustrated by John Buscema. So it's the movie Conan the Destroyer adapted to comic form, and it's good, but I mean, it's good, but they kind of, I'm so used to John Buscema's work on Savage Sword Conan, so this kind of looks undetailed to me, and maybe unfocused, something, I don't know who. It's more like the old comics. Yeah, I know, obviously they are old, but I mean more like Tintin, or maybe not Tintin, but in that kind of style, the European, I guess, maybe European style of comics. I don't know, could it be by the other guys in this book who were part of making it? I don't know, it just kind of feels much less detailed than the Savage Sword of Conan comics. And even the flagship Conan the Barbarian, the one that started it all, comic series by Marvel. I don't know. Anyway, then it has making of Conan the Destroyer, which is very interesting. I'm kind of halfway read through it, halfway. It's got actually quite a lot of pages. The making of, and that's really cool. I'm always interested in reading the making of, so that's fantastic. And then it continues with the adaptation, and so yeah, definitely get this if you want. It's called the Conan the Destroyer Annual, actually, and if you want to get some info about the making of and the official adaptation of the movie. But this wasn't actually the reason why I got this, but it was because it came with this. This was the reason I had that, because it came with this. It's a package deal used, so this is what I wanted. And here you can see Also making of stuff, interviews with the cast from Conan the Barbarian, and some making of and interesting stuff here on the other side. It's really fantastic looking stuff, and interesting tidbits and interviews by James Earl Jones and Sandal Bergman and Jerry Lopez and Arnold Schwarzenegger and I think with John Milius and stuff like that. But if you thought this was the reason, no, this is not the reason why I got this. What's on the other side is the reason why I got this. It's because it has one of the greatest posters of all time on the backside, and because it looks so much better without the credits. This is an absolute fantastic. I mean, look at this incredible piece of art. So beautiful, right? Fantastic artwork. Really like a Frazetta painting. Incredible. Like, it's one of the greatest posters ever made. The power, the imagination, the feel, the atmosphere. Like, it brings you into the movie before you've seen the movie. Go on a journey. Like, what happened to great posters like this? Like, I don't like the new ones with all the digital. They all look the same to me. Most of them. There's some couple good ones, but I mean, most of them are just unimaginative crap, in my opinion. I just don't care for them at all. This is what it should be all about. Like, this is incredible. This is beautiful. I gotta get this frame ASAP. This is incredible. Incredible stuff. I absolutely love it. And this is the reason why I have the Conan the Destroyer book, which I'm glad to have, of course, but it looks so much better without the credits, right? The official, I think, has stuff here, then moves the picture up. But yeah, this is the way you make the posters. It takes you on a journey. You feel it, like, it goes, go into that atmosphere, the mindset, the place, transported there. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely fantastic. But yeah, and that's it for this week, my fellow Conan fans. It's been a good week in many ways as well. So, I'll see you on the next video, guys, and hail Conan.